woman appeared on TV to sell the self-wringing mop she had invented. It was her first time on television, and she was so nervous she could barely get her words out. Everything changed when her best friend called in, pretending to be a customer. The interaction helped Joy regain her confidence. As she demonstrated the mop, the number of orders started climbing rapidly. Before long, sales had surpassed 50,000 units. Joy could hardly believe she had actually done it. Nick also recognized her incredible business potential. The two decided to continue working together. Their next televised promotion was an even bigger success. Nearly 100,000 mops were sold during the second campaign. The entire family threw a party to celebrate. After all, millions of households across America could use their mop. It finally seemed like they were on the road to success. But the good times didn't last long. Without any warning, the factory suddenly demanded higher prices. Joy refused to accept such an unreasonable increase. She knew it could drive the entire business into bankruptcy. The very next day, she flew to California to confront the factory. But the factory manager refused to back down. He insisted that the price hike would stay. Joy asked to inspect the molds used to manufacture her product. The manager immediately denied her request. Pretending she needed to use the restroom, Joy slipped into the production area. What she discovered left her furious. The factory had copied her design and planned to sell it as their own. The price increase was part of a scheme to force her out of the market. Then they could manufacture and sell the product themselves. Enraged, Joy demanded the return of her design plans. But the police arrived and arrested her for trespassing. Her father later bailed her out. At that point, the situation had become critical. Not only did they owe $500,000 in debt, but they were also facing legal action. Desperate for answers, Joy consulted a lawyer. The lawyer explained that when she paid the licensing fees, she had unknowingly surrendered rights connected to the molds. As a result, suing the factory would be extremely difficult. Faced with mounting pressure, the wealthy investor pushed Joy to declare bankruptcy. She argued it was the only way to minimize the losses. With both her father and the investor urging her to give up, Joy reluctantly signed the bankruptcy papers. But she refused to let that be the end of her story. She cut off her long hair and vowed to fight back. Then she began studying every document related to the factory. She carefully reviewed contracts, records, and legal paperwork. During her investigation, she uncovered evidence of serious misconduct. The next day, she traveled alone to Texas. There, she met with the businessman behind the factory. Joy laid out the evidence directly in front of him. She had contacted the Hong Kong company that supposedly owned the patent. That call revealed a shocking truth. The licensing fees she had paid never reached the patent holder. The factory had pocketed the money themselves. She also discovered that her design was completely different from the patent in question. That meant she never owed those licensing fees in the first place. In other words, the factory had deceived her. Based on fraud and financial misconduct alone, she had grounds to take them to court. Only then did the businessman realize Joy was not someone he could intimidate. He agreed to refund the licensing fees. He also agreed to compensate her for the damages. Finally, he signed an agreement acknowledging that the factory had no ownership rights to her product. Joy had won. In that moment, all the setbacks and frustration finally disappeared. From then on, she sold millions of self-wringing mops. Her life was completely transformed. She went from struggling entrepreneur to self-made millionaire, but she didn't stop with the mop. She continued creating and launching new products. Over time, she secured more than 100 patents for her inventions. She also founded a company dedicated to helping everyday inventors. The company helped turn their ideas into real products. Because of her achievements, Joy was named one of the world's most innovative businesswomen by a leading American business magazine.